Welcome again to Navigating the Shift. Today, Annabelle and I are going to talk about a problem a lot of old souls have of being over-givers. Why is that? Do you think that it's that way? Is there a program that's been put into place to limit our ability to receive? I think so. Annabelle, tell us your story.
The story I was thinking of was one from an English television series, Downton Abbey. Hey, I remembered. Yeah, that's only a few years old, only a little while ago. And there was a point in there where like a guy who was sort of from the middle class suddenly found himself treated like upper class, and he had ended up with a butler. And the butler would go, "Well, can I do this for you?" And he goes, "No, I'll do it myself. It's fine." You know, "Oh, can I get this for you?" No, I can do it. I can polish my own shoes. It's fine. "Well, can I put your jacket on?" "No, I can put my jacket on. It's fine." And then the other upper class people took him in at one point and said, "We understand there's some problems with your butler." And he goes, "I don't need a butler. It's fine." And they said, "Well, you're doing him out of a job. This is his job. He has nothing to do if you don't allow him to do his job." And the guy was like, "Oh." And it just really struck me. It made me think, oh, that really got me wondering about when people offer us help, when we go, no, I can do it. Particularly for me, with men, there was a thing that I had with what obligations I might need to meet if I allowed a man to help me, just would always shut me down. No, independent, I can cope. And even when it made life really hard. So that's why I thought it would be a good way to start our conversation. There's the point of being able to give without demanding anything in return. I think women and men both do that. I think they get kind of taught along the way that, somebody should say thank you. If you're a child, you should say thank you. And therefore, when I give to you, you should say thank you to me. And we get caught up in this little tiny what goes around comes around. It's only a loop of forward and back, and then it's paid off, and then that's the seals. The circle is closed, and there's no pay it forward, which makes a bigger circle or anything.
That was a particular pet peeve for me raising children. I never, ever said to my child, say thank you.
You didn't?
I modeled it for them.
Right.
I said thank you to them, and they learned it. And people would come to me all the time and say, your child is so polite about all of them. And I never one time said, say thank you, because to me the energy of that is, say thank you, and the kid says thank you.
No gratitude, right?
It stopped it. There's no gratitude. Gratitude and love are the highest frequency emotions we have. So if you are able to, if somebody's able to give you something and you feel gratitude, that's good for you, right? Mm. And the program that's in place, the give and take program, let's call it, is like a bank account. If you do something for me, then that means I'm in debt to you.
In the old belief, yeah.
This is the old way, the old program. I was sick, and a mother offered to pick up my kid from school for me. And the first thing that went through my mind is, if I do that, then next time she asks, I'm going to have to do it for her. And I don't want to do that. So I said, no, I'll be able to get her. I'm fine. Right? And as old souls, we're not comfortable feeling in debt. I think there's maybe an unconscious, maybe a positive part of it, an unconscious understanding that there needs to be a balance of flow. But younger souls seem to be okay with just, taking, and they don't have that sense of guilt if they feel like their bank account is too empty or too full, or however you want to do it, that they've overtaken.
Mm. Providing they're still the kind of person that will give spontaneously as well, and not just taking all the time. Yeah, right. But to understand that that's the way the world goes round, that if we all help. Yeah. And I know at one point I got into a habit. I thought, I'm going to give without not asking, but not even expecting in my mind anything in return. So I would go, and if somebody needed help, like say a lady trying to get a pram off the train, that I'd lift the front of the pram, get it off, and then walk away before she could even say thank you. And if they wanted to yell it behind my back, that's fine, but I didn't need it. Now, I suppose that's kind of cutting myself off from the gratitude a little bit. But it was, I think it was just like a small amount of time I did this. The idea was
like an experiment to see what it was like.
I love experimenting. It was about breaking my own belief that they were obliged to be thankful to me. And like there was a lady one time who had lent me money when I really urgently needed it, and she said, you can pay it back when you can. And I said, are you sure? Because I don't know when I can pay this. But no, it's fine. You can pay it back when you... Within 1 month, she was going, well, where is it? You know, or let's meet for coffee. So we'll meet for coffee. And then I get this message afterwards. Well, I was hoping that you would bring the money. I was very disappointed. And this just carried on and on and on. This just became... And then the story started coming out that she'd lent money to somebody else, and that person was forever indebted to her for the rest of her life. That's what he said. And I thought, oh, you're not going to play that game with me. So as soon as I could, I paid it off, and away you go. You know, I'm not... Right. That's more interest than a bank loan. You know, you're asking for more interest. You're wanting me to be forever indebted. And that's a bigger trade than I'm prepared to pay, because that was not explained to me at the beginning.
She gave in order to own you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the old energy. And we can look at it from the sort of the negative point of view of, taking and having to owe people. But a flip side way to look at it is, I want you to remember a time that you gave somebody a physical gift. And suppose that person said, oh, no, I don't want that. No, thanks. No, I don't like that. Ow, that hurts. Right? Also, probably even more painful is if you offer them a gift of your love, your support, of being a safe space for them, nurturing, whatever it is. And because of that old program, they say, no, that's okay. I don't need it. No. Ow, that's devaluing you. You know, that this wonderful thing that you've offered isn't even wanted. So the opposite is true. So if you give somebody a physical gift or an emotional gift, a spiritual gift, and they go, wow, thank you. This is just what I wanted. I really love it. That's your gift in return. That return of energy is that gratitude. And that's amazing. You know, this old program was put in place to keep that lovely flow from going back and forth with people. I think. The give and take program, right? Yeah. Because it being the highest frequency with love and gratitude.
It has to be authentic though, right? I mean, if you really don't want it or don't need it. I mean,
of course.
Yeah. It can make life a whole lot more easy if you would accept that kind of help when you obviously need help. They've offered some help. Just take it. It's okay. And your gratitude is the flow. But
it's a wonderful manipulation gift you give them to receive a gift from them.
Yeah, to accept it.
Yeah, that's the return gift.
Yeah, that's true.
And
I think, and I just wanted to come around to the idea of the male-female as well. I know that's I don't know where it came from, whether it's from this life or from another life, or where it is, but. For very long time, I would not accept help from men because I would always wonder what was next. What would be the obligation?
Are you talking about sexual obligation?
Sometimes,
or just
Are you going to lead this on to the next, to the next, to the next? Am I obliged to say yes to the next step and the next step? And some people really do manipulate that, along those lines. That you can see it clearly. That's where they're heading. And so you want to shut it down. But I just took that too far, to the point where I would accept no help when it was very obviously going to be useful to get help.
And did you do that as a way of protecting yourself from having those obligations that you didn't want to meet?
Yes, but who knows how many of those men were quite holistic or wholesome, I think, in their offer of help. They wanted to be helpful.
Yeah. Okay, so protect yourself from your own internally produced
version
threat.
of yes.
Not that
yes. That's right. Some of them really clearly, obviously, that's where they were going. But I just got to the point where I'd accept no help. And one time I was out the front of my house, trying to cut down a really difficult branch that was out over the top of the power, where the power comes in. And I was really struggling with it up the ladder, you know. And this guy walks past, says, "Oh, do you need some help with that?" And I'm like, "No, fine, thanks." And he stood there for a while. And I was like, "I'm fine, thank you." And so we walked away, and then I struggled for like another 20 minutes, going, "As stupid. Just he could have got up and got this. He could have sorted this out for me." So that, I think that was another time where I stopped to question why did I just not let him help me? You know, that might have actually been lovely for him to do. He'd done his good deed for the day, and off he could go. But so I wondered about that. And then not long ago, only a few months ago, I got a flat tire, and I'd called the roadside assist, and they were going to be like 3 hours or something. And I was right on the front of a bus stop, so every bus that stopped every 5 minutes would beep at me like, "Go on!" I'd go, "Flat tire." Every 5 minutes. It was very stressful. And this guy comes along, and he said, "Oh, do you need some help? You got a flat tire?" I said, "Yeah, I've got a flat tire." He says, "Oh, you know," and so he immediately goes, I said, "Look, it's a new car," like any excuse that I don't know where all the bits are. And then I thought, oh, bloody dumb blonde, like I started berating myself already. I was like, no, just wait, you know. So he's picking up bits and we're chatting away. And he said something, I can't remember what it was now. I put it in a Facebook post. It sounded like it could have been a bit derogatory, like, "Oh, you know, you women don't know about these things." It was something along those lines, but it wasn't meant to be nasty. Except I didn't know that at that stage. I wasn't sure what he meant.
You took it that way.
I didn't know how to take it. So I just said, "We have other strengths." And he laughed and carried on. And then I thought, oh, it wasn't derogatory. It was just him going, "I can do this. I can solve it." So he was feeling good in himself. And I didn't have to be offended by that. You always have a choice as to whether you want to be offended. So he carried on. He fixed the tyre. And off I went. I was gone, a quarter of an hour instead of waiting 3 hours. And so it was like a really big lesson for me. It's okay to like he didn't ask anything in return. You could see him walking down the road, smiling and whistling to himself. He'd done his good deed for the day. There was no obligation on me that I was now owed him a date.
And you received it and felt gratitude.
Yeah, but here's what's interesting. I put this on a post in Facebook, like, this is like reverse feminism to me. I have to learn to accept help. And that's what I did. And also along the way was this derogatory comment. Could have been seen as offensive, and instead it wasn't meant to be. But I found out. Anyway, I put this on Facebook, went to bed, got up in the morning, it's like 200 comments underneath of women, wow, on and on and on. You should learn to change a tyre was one of the things, was saying. It's so easy to do, you should learn how to do it. So I'm like, well, actually, I'm not going to learn every skill in the world just so I can't accept help from someone, from a man. Because I'd put in there this thing about accepting help from a man. And there were other comments in there, oh, it's more general than that. It's all about accepting help from other people generally. And I said, no, it's not. Like, it might be for other people to learn to accept help. But for me, it was quite specific in that I had to learn to accept help from a man because he wasn't always going to have me suddenly indebted to him that now I owed him a kiss or a date or my phone number or, that's an interesting topic.
The sexual side of the give and take program warrants conversation. It's a big one.
It is.
I went on a first date once with this guy. I didn't know him. It was a first date. And as we arrived at the restaurant, he said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Okay." And before we got out of the car, he said, "Were you thinking that we were going to have sex tonight?" And at first, my hackles went up. I was terrified and pissed. And I said, "No, I'm not planning on that." And he said, "Oh, good, great. Neither one of us has to worry about that then." And I just went, oh. And he says, "We can just have fun. Neither of us is going to worry if that's going to go on. We know it's not, and we can relax." And it was the most brilliant gift. I just loved it. Years later, I was getting some tantric therapy. I saw a tantra healer guy a series of times. And one of the phrases he taught me is nothing happens next. And I'll explain that. But it's the antidote to the indebtedness, that if I do this, then this is going to happen. If I let this happen, then this is going to happen. And one of the ways he showed it to me, for instance, was he said, okay, I'm going to put my hand, let's say, on your breast here, and that's all I'm going to do. And you tell me what comes up, stuff that comes up, and see if we can help you with anything there. And he did that, and I just went, oh, God. And he said, okay, what was that jerk? What was that tension? And I said, oh, well, you're going to do that, and then next is going to be this. And he goes, no, nothing happens next.
Right.
And it was a really important learning experience for me, and we had to do it a bunch of times before I got it viscerally.
Was it that you learned to trust him, or was it a more general thing that you were questioning then about your own beliefs as to what to expect? Yeah.
That's why the Tantra something like that until I trusted him.
Right.
Some of them, some of them just want to have group sex and all that. But this guy happened to have been in integrity, or I wouldn't have been there. But he helped me to unwind that program, that sexual version of give and take, and grok completely that. And then the idea of the gift, receiving a gift is the gift you get back, was something I sort of learned or developed after breaking free from the give and take program.
Right. And I think, it's not just women that need to learn that, it's men as well. You think about in ancient times, they used to have priestesses that taught men how to truly make love to a woman and do that so that the woman built trust, and that all of that's gone. We don't have those schools anymore. So our young men, what are they looking at? Movies and porno and things, and going, oh, is that what we do? Oh, okay. But the problem is the young women are looking at those going, oh, that's what we've got to expect. Well, okay, all right.
Exactly.
Roll over,
hello.
Yeah.
Prick
so there's so many words for women who say no. It's not acceptable, but we've got to
think of how much rape there is.
I know, but sometimes it's not, strictly speaking, rape. You do allow them, and you're just sitting like, go on then. It's not. There's no love in the connection. Like,
are you saying
we've been out for 3 dates, so I suppose you get to do it now. Okay, whatever.
Right.
How long is it going to be? 15 minutes. It's there's no. We don't have the same connection sometimes. I mean, not everybody, of course. Some people have great time, but I think that there are probably a lot of cases out there that have watched media and that's their only education. And then and school. Look at it, school. In the schools, they teach you about reproductive organs, and when you do this and you put the two together, then you're going to get a baby. And there's the scientific explanations there. But there's no discussion about love and affection that's missing from all the porno movies, and playtime and being sweet and not expecting anything in return. Nothing happens next. We're missing all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So to be able to teach the young men to do what that guy did for you on that first date. By the way, we're not going to do anything tonight, so let's just relax and have fun. Oh, wow, that's great. Or what the Tantra guy did as well, that you are slowly getting intimate with somebody and you go, is this okay? Is this all right if I do this? Well, I'm not... No, that's all right. Okay, we'll do it. We can have another try next time. And not push it any further. That would be a great thing to teach so many young men, and teach the women as well, that it's okay to say that.
Well, you have to consider everything that society teaches, though. Every movie they watch, if they're watching porn, everything their buddies say, everything that there are programs, I think, that for men are supposed to want sex without love, and women are supposed to want true love with no sex. So a woman's always seeking her mate, her soulmate. I hate the soulmate story. God, I never got that one. The perfect man for me. And he's looking for the perfect sex partner. That's the story. And I experienced that. My first husband, who was not the soulmate for me, but was one of my soulmates, had a very promiscuous life ahead of time before me. But when we got together and he fell in love with me, he didn't want to do anything fun.
Oh.
You know, I mean, I could hardly touch, you know, you can't touch testicles. No, don't touch nipples. I mean, it was just like, okay. He just, no, we have to do just this way. And it was not fun. It was a problem.
Oh.
And that's sort of where I hit the, wait, didn't you used to like have sex and stuff?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I'm not going to bring that stuff into my marriage bed.
Oh, wow.
So that, you know, it's a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Big issues. And nobody knows how to talk to their friends about it because nobody knows any better than the next one.
Well, it's embarrassing.
It is. Yeah.
You know, I'm sitting here feeling embarrassed right now talking about this ridiculous sex life. And, you know, don't touch here, don't touch there, and thinking, God, I shouldn't have said that, you know.
No, thank you for sharing it, because you have no idea how many people you'll affect by putting this out in the public. So thank you for putting it out there. You've been more vulnerable than me.
and I'm the queen of shame, you know. It's a friend gave me that title because
maybe you have to take out the I am. You could say I was.
Well, no. What I mean by queen of shame is I've mastered it. It doesn't usually affect me anymore. I don't function in order to avoid shame. I'm pretty comfortable with it, and I go, you know, there's shame. Like just the very fact that I said, oh God, I'm feeling uncomfortable, feeling shame about it. That's where I go with it. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm feeling shame about it. Oh, well. Oh, so it doesn't hook me.
Right.
You know, I knew I was going to feel shame if I said it. So what? I felt it. I owned up to it. I don't feel it anymore.
Okay. But if we were in a group, if we were sitting in a circle of people and they all started sharing their stories that were similar, would you still feel the same shame?
I don't know.
Yeah. If it became an everyday thing that people talk about, then maybe the shame would disappear.
Well, yeah, if it became an everyday thing, but that's just the point. It isn't an everyday thing. That's that place where we don't talk about this stuff. You certainly don't say it in public. You don't put it on a video on YouTube, for God's sake. What was I thinking? No. What if my ex-husband sees this? What am I going to do?
No, it'll be helpful.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you for sharing.
I'd love, and I, you know, for everybody to realize shame is just something that you can feel and then you get rid of it.
Yeah.
If you're you know, everybody, the highest frequency is love and gratitude. The really lowest one is shame. And guilt is I did something harmful, hurtful, and I'm going to do this to repair it. Mm-hmm. For shame, it's I am inherently bad.
I see.
You know, I'm born with original shin. Two shins, one sin. And it's like, what's that phrase? You've got a face only a mother could love. You know, there's just nothing you can do about it. It's
terrible thing to say.
You know, and I've lived with my first 25 years of my life. I had this black pit of shame. Just, you know, there's something inherently wrong with me. So I know what I'm talking about. I put a lot of years into clearing it. Okay. But that's the lowest frequency. So in the same way that the programs are designed to prevent us from feeling the higher frequencies of love and gratitude, they're designed to make you feel the shame. So just be aware of that. And nobody wants to feel it because it feels so clunky. And when we don't want to feel it, if we're having it, but we're not willing to feel it, you know, we're trying to suppress it, what happens is it radiates unconsciously out into your field. And everybody picks it up. Mm-hmm. And it's like we're swimming in a sea of shame. Because that's the lowest one nobody wants to have. So awareness of shame is brilliant. When I've worked with clients before, some of the most amazing things, when I get them to really realize how this is and they grok it, he'll come back to me, she goes, it's everywhere. I can see it now everywhere. It's just like, this is shaming, this person is shaming, this person is shaming. I'm in a coffee shop and I'm watching people shame each other back and forth.
Oh, so you can pick it all up.
Yeah, so that awareness of it. So we got kind of a slightly, well,
off on a tangent.
Off topic a little bit, but it is applicable.
It is.
So there you go.
Share your stories with us.
Bits. Yes.
Share your stories about what you've
Feel
found.
the shame and share it.
It doesn't have to be like a all
Feel
the
the fear and do it anyway.
yeah. What is it what the Catholics do when they go into their little box? They do their
Confess.
It's not confession time. It's not. You don't
No.
have to do that. I'm just thinking more. To step back a little bit into that idea of when you've gone on a date. Or you've accepted help from a man, and what happened from there? Was there something that happened that surprised you that was different from what you expected? Some of them will do it deliberately to manipulate you, and sometimes that's very clear. And other times people will surprise you and go, that was fun. I really enjoyed helping you. Have a great day. And off they go whistling down the road, like that guy who helped me change my tyre. So plenty of discussion can be had about this.
Pay attention to it for a period of time. You have to be conscious of it for a bit, as we spoke about in that 4 phases of changing your behavior.
Yeah.
For a while, you need to be really conscious of it. So if you pay attention to it and go, oh, my God, that just happened there. And, oh, I just felt that thing there. Then you can step out of it. And I'd love to hear stories. I love it when people get out of it. It's so much fun. That's what is so pleasing about what I do.
I agree.
Thank you for joining us.
See you next time.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.